Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Jon Stewart versus Fox News, part 87. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As you may know, Jon Stewart, who hosts a daily show on the Comedy Channel, has emerged as a devoted critic of Fox News, and this is no small matter in the liberal media. The Daily Show is a key component of left-wing television because Mr. Stewart is a smart guy who has big-time credibility with younger Americans. What he says is cool, it's hip, he is in the know. So Jon's a big-time player in the current media war we're seeing in America. Now, as Talking Points has said before, I like Stewart. He's the second most talented guy on cable TV. But there is no question that Jon Stewart's a committed liberal. He lives in Tribeca, for crying out loud. Although, to be fair, he has mocked far-left loons on occasion, but I think I noticed a tear in his eye when he did it. Apparently, Stewart's main beef with FNC is that we are hypocritical, that we slant the news to make the Obama administration look bad, and we generalize all day long about the American left. Enter Bernie Goldberg, a frequent Stewart target. Bernie says the comedian himself is the one embracing hypocrisy.
Clearly, you want to be a social commentator more than just a comedian. And if you want to be a good one, you better find some guts. And how about those black columnists who play the race card and generalize about Tea Party people being racists? Why don't you go after them by name and do it with the same passion and gusto that you use when you're going after Fox people?
Well, after hearing that, Mr. Stewart devoted 11 minutes of his show last night to mocking Bernie, me, and Fox News in general.
Look, I'm sorry I told you to go yourself last week, and that other time, like 6 months ago, I told you to go yourself. I know that I criticize you and Fox News a lot, but only because you're truly a terrible, cynical, disingenuous news organization. Oh, wait, no, you know what? That's the wrong approach. That's the wrong approach. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be confrontational. I want to take a minute to talk directly to Bernie Goldberg. Baby, I don't want to fight, baby.
Sure he does. Sure he wants to fight. A brawl with FNC gives Stewart and his 600 writers great material, just like it gives me, the sole writer on The Factor, great material. But there are two serious points here. First, why are there no conservative comedians with their own TV programs? The success of the Fox News Channel shows there's a huge audience for non-liberal presentations. And second, I'm now convinced that Jon Stewart likes us. He really likes us. Sally Field told me that. And it makes sense. A guy like Jon would be bored out of his mind watching CNN or NBC News. He'd bang his head against the wall listening to that predictable stuff. But here, we have all kinds of views, all kinds of debates, and we're not boring. That's why Jon Stewart loves us, and yes, needs us, especially Bernie Goldberg. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, you know it. Joining us from Miami, the growing legend, Bernie Goldberg. All right, we're having, we're taking this not so seriously, but it is a serious issue because I believe Jon Stewart has now emerged as the point man for the left-wing media in America. With the decline of the New York Times and other liberal newspapers, no longer they have the power they used to. He is now the face of the left on television. Am I wrong?
I don't think you are. But let me first say that I don't have a problem with anything he did last night. All in bounds, all civil, no problem. And I'm flattered, as a matter of fact, that he spent half his show talking about me. Clearly, I got to him by saying that he wasn't as gutsy as he thought he was or courageous and he played it safe too often and had a small audience and all that. But fine, I'm not looking to continue any war with Jon Stewart. I've been on his show twice. He was civil to me both times. But as to your question, he has a lot of influence he doesn't have a big audience, but he has a lot of influence with young viewers who are very, very, very loyal to him. I was on the show Monday night, and then he did this thing on his show. My website at bernardgoldberg.com, it's a civil place. People agree with me, disagree with me. It's always civil, though, until last night. These people came out of the sewer that is the World Wide Web and put the most vile, vulgar, hateful stuff on, mimicking stuff that Jon Stewart said about, go F yourself. And, I could handle that, but I don't think that's good. I don't want to get too highfalutin here, but I don't think that's good for the culture when people get that angry. I mean, Jon Stewart and I could have an honest, civil discussion about where we disagree, but as hardcore fans, not all of them, not even most of them, but the hardcore few, they don't want any criticism of their guy.
No, that's the Daily Kos crowd, and they've done that. Yeah. But they do it on the right, too. The hard right does it, too. All right, now let's
Hold on, Bill, hold on just a second.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that your most loyal viewers who are agreeing with me tonight would go to Jon Stewart's website and tell him to go F himself.
Not my viewers,
his most loyal
but there are viewers
came over to my side and told me.
Okay, not my viewers, although there are probably a few. But on talk radio with the extreme right-wing people, I'm not talking about Limbaugh, I'm talking about people way more right than him, you'll get some of that. But the point of the matter is that Jon Stewart is now with a comedy show on a cable network. He's far more influential than Bill Maher, Michael Moore, all of these other bomb throwers, because the print press loves him and the entertainment press loves him. And he himself is smart. He knows how to position and to sell satire. Now, satire is 80% directed at conservatives, and we pointed that out. He doesn't like that. But I think this helps Stewart. His influence is growing.
Yeah, again, it's not related directly to audience size, but he has, he has that kind of audience that advertisers, for instance, love.
And he's on the internet. He's on the net.
Young, educated audience.
Look, if you went in last night...
Everything he does winds up on the internet.
Right. If you went in last night to all the media websites, there it was, Jon Stewart fires back at FNC. Now, I also said there are no conservative comics who have their own television program. Now, I don't want to be racist, but is there a blacklist?
Well, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question, and it's not an easy one, but I'll give you a theory. The suits on the East Coast and the West Coast that hire comedians to do shows, I think that they see some really hard-edged, nasty stuff about George Bush as genuinely being funny, because the suits also think that George Bush is an idiot and a war criminal. But if there's a conservative comic out there who does anything, too hardcore against Barack Obama, they're not going to find that funny. And maybe that's why they don't want to give any of those guys a show, but I don't know.
Okay, but even the Fox Broadcasting, you got the Family Guy, far left. You got the Simpsons, not far left, but liberal. And overwhelmingly the comedy writers are in that ilk. But there are enough funny conservative, traditionalist, centrist comedians that you would feel one would get a shot, but nobody. Total shutout.
But because the entertainment community is a liberal community, and I think they see these guys automatically as not as funny as liberals.
It's all about money, Bernie. You figure they give it a shot, right? If Wanda Sykes can get her own program, come on. All right, Bernie Goldberg, everybody. In a moment, two liberal commentators.